Curragh Club.
That's correct.
And I have to say, these were not the members of the Carlingford Curragh Club that we were looking at there. These were the men of Arran.
That's correct.
Yeah, but you stand on the shoulders of giants. You're in the craft that has given sustenance to the Irish people for centuries along the West Coast.
Yeah. Just one general thing, Rowan, about sport generally in Uri and Mourne, and I'm sorry to go off the theme, but I mean, I get the odd phone call into the council, and my little world of sport and community.
Yeah.
I can imagine other phone calls coming through as well, or people not ringing through because they haven't got the confidence.
Yes.
But the very odd time regarding curragh boats, regarding soccer, Gaelic, badminton, or any sport at all, phone call is, Dermot, I'm age 45.
Yeah.
I have a son who's age 9. We don't play much sport. Can we join Newry Tennis Club?
Yes.
I go, yeah, ring Tom McKeown.
Yep.
Tom's there every day voluntary.
Yep.
Ring up Tom McKeown. I join the club. But we can't play tennis. Or I'm very old, or I'm 40, 50, and my son can't play very well. I said, look, I'm sorry, sir. These are the people that clubs need.
Aye.
They need that there. Even in selfish terms, going to a sports council in Belfast, applying for a grant, they'll ask, what is your spectrum?
Oh, yeah.
Elite athlete, child aged 8 or 9. So please, people in Uri and Mourne, remember that sporting clubs of all types need new members, old members, those who are recreational users, and those who are elite athletes, all form the one club.
Yeah. But you've got it. You know, I see it from my window, what you guys do at Warren Point, the Carlingford Curragh Club. You're out there on the water of the loch every week of the year, weather permitting. And
that's right.
These are the kind of boats that will take a lot of weather because of their nature.
Yeah. In simple terms, I used it before this interview, it's just like a plastic bottle on a heavy sea.
Yeah.
And even those like me who are at it now 12 years, if you're caught side on by a wave, it will, to some degree, be merciful. It'll ride over the wave.
Wow.
So the boat design 100 years ago is fantastic. This is high tech 100 years ago. The bow's cut away, and for the novice rower like me, now 12 years at it, even when I'm caught side on, the wave will put you up and back down the other side. So even in terms of our club membership, we have all types in Warren Point, Rostrevor and Uri. You mentioned the club change, the club title. It's Warren Point. Baker McCann, our chairman, is currently out of the country at the moment. He can't be here. It's Warren Point based, but the membership are from Rostrevor, Bourne, Newry, all arts and parts. And even in terms of the grant aid in the future, you know yourself.
Yes.
Carlingford Loch Curragh Club sits better in funding applications.
Yeah, but it also, in practical terms, it knits the Loch community together.
It does.
And if you've got the two-headed men from Carlingford liaising with the three-headed men from Newry and Mourne, sure, we have a good life together. We get to know each other.
That's right.
And we know that we're not different.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
And Newry and Mourne Council is twin now with County Clare, and these little things happen in life. We're running across from Warren Point, close to your home area.
Yes.
And right across to Meath. And some wag says, Dermot, from County Clare, says, Dermot, where is the border? I says, well, the border is in a line up the middle of the loch, but for your sake, it's just 3 waves off the bow. And the Clare County people thought it was fantastic to row from Warren Point over to Meath.
Yeah, an international journey.
Inside 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. It's a huge thing. Now, the origin of the club, the Curragh Club on the loch, how did it all begin?
Well, it's a long story. The short version really is Baker McCann, who people say is involved in everything in Warren Point, and so he is.
Oh, he's a lover of Warren Point.
Yeah, and he's one of their catalysts for moving things on.
Absolutely.
So Baker McCann started this 12 years ago with the Hudson River in America.
It's a great name. The Hudson River Company.
Hudson River Company.
Beaver hunting and bringing back the furs and the pelts.
He went there and he met the Hudson Club, the main club in New York, one of the biggest areas, and Mikey Connors and even these names, Mikey Connors and Dick Adair, two top men in the club, are going back now just 12 years. So the catalyst really was Baker McCann buying these boats in Tory Island and Donegal. And then Dick Adair and Mikey Connors coming back and forth from America. And that was the starting point. And last year we had our 10th International Curragh Championships.
You must be doing something wonderfully right to get the Americans coming to you with such loyalty.
Yes, 10, 12 years. The only bad news is that they've lost their elite end. Warrenpoint Carlingford Loch Curragh Club beat them last summer because they're all
For the first time in 9 years.
Yeah, because they're all getting older.
Yes, yeah. And you've got new people
You have
coming
new people
on.
coming on,
Yeah. But I mean, you do know it's Curragh time again. The Americans are in. You see these strange apparitions around the point in early summer, fellas with brown legs and short trousers, and women with a wee touch of different beauty, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, they're here. The Americans have arrived.
It looks very surreal. Sandy Beach, East Coast Centre, the sun shining down, both hotels full to capacity for a whole weekend.
Yeah, it's as good as it gets, really.
I mean, that's sport, and that's sport creating a feel-good factor.
Absolutely.
It really is.
Now, do you make your own curraghs? Have you done it?
To some degree, we're Philistines. We bought these 4 boats in Tory Island, 2 purchased by Newry Mourne Council, 2 purchased by the Curragh Club.
What do they cost?
£500 each, about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
However, we're going to move on to phase 2, and the phase 2, St Mark's High School in Warrenpoint have kindly offered to offer classes with us, with the children as part of the curriculum,
To build
the
curraghs?
Curragh clubs.
Wow.
No longer Philistines.
No
We'll be
longer.
builders and rowers of our own boats.
It's almost biblical that to be builders and rowers of our own boat, like take up your bed and walk,
That's right.
which would be great. But it's great you're getting the young people involved.
Well, I suppose it doesn't. I don't want to sound too. That's one of the problems of us, maybe in this area. We don't blow our own trumpet enough, but
We don't.
We were checking our list of people who had this last 4 months, rolling from June to now. Children from the Newry Maritime Association, from Drummond Lane Community Association, from High Street Community Centre, Young Adult Centre in Dominic Street. Roughly, all in all, about 400 children have passed through our hands from June to late August.
June to August.
Yeah, and the Eddie Curtis triathlon event in the Albert Basin, we're involved in that. The Rainbow March parade through Newry.
Yeah.
So all in all, I'd say we've worked with about 500 different children at different levels throughout Newry. The sad thing is, if you ask James McAreevy, I suppose, and ask our own people, out of those children from those community centres, less than 1/3 had been on the water courses of Newry ever in their lives.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we are a maritime town, city. We have that tradition.
Yeah.
But we kind of lost it a wee bit. Men like McAreevy and the Inland Waterways people, they all came together and started giving the pride back into it again, which is very acceptable, and long may they continue doing that. The construction of the curragh, tell me about how it works.
On the last point about James and the Maritime Association, we were initially prompted and pushed into the Albert Basin. Our home was Warrenpoint foreshore, and that was it. But I'm so glad we went to the Albert Basin, because Albert Basin
before Christmas as
we
well.
did, yeah. We Santa Claus in the Albert Basin up the Fathom, along the Fathom line. But I suppose the Newry people now have experienced the Curragh clubs. So Warrenpoint, it was Warrenpoint Curragh Club, Carniford Loch Curragh Club. There's also now, to some degree, the Albert Basin Curragh Club.
Of course.
We've been there as many times in Albert Basin as we've been in Warrenpoint, Warrenpoint Harbour.
And it's easy enough to get in and get going and let it all happen there.
So essentially, the boats there's a 3-man boat, a 2-man boat, and 1-man boat.
And what do they cost nowadays? What was the 2-man boat cost?
Well, they're all the same size. You have, in the races, you have a 1-man go at it, a 2-man or 3-man go.
Yeah.
So there's 3 sets of oars.
Yeah.
And funny, ironically, the 2-man boat can go as fast as the 3-man boat.
Yes.
It's a ratio of weight per strength.
Yeah.
So yes, they're a light boat to some degree, but still rowing their 3 or 4-man job to lift.
Oh, yeah.
Not so much the weight. They're awkward. They're very awkward.
You need to be gentle with them, because they're a creature of the waves. They're not a creature of the stony shore.
Delicate off the land, or sorry, delicate on the beach, would tear quite happily on the rocks. In the water, very robust, very strong.
Absolutely.
So initially, maybe out of ignorance, we actually had carpet on the beach.
Yes.
And we put the boats on a carpet as part of the races. And you walk past, you see these guys putting carpet down the beach. Looked a bit strange looking.
Yeah.
We've now progressed onto old tires.
Yeah.
So yes, you got to be careful in these boats, even on a trailer as well. Put them on gently. Yeah. So gentle on the rocks, gentle on the trailer, but on the sea, very, very strong boat.
Absolutely. Well, I've seen you guys. It's the nearest thing to You would lift a coffin from a hearse with as much gentleness as you guys lift the currachs.
That's right.
Total respect and total gentleness with the currachs.
Yeah.
Do you have a sense of the tradition when you're handling these boats? I know we're the whole way across the island on the east coast, but you must feel the breath of the Aran Islanders on your shoulders.
We've been to Rathlin Island recently, and it was a pretty scary activity. Big waves, big rollers, but we're looked after by the resident club.
Yeah.
The west coast of Ireland, the rollers are wide and deep, whereas in the Irish Sea, they're choppy and short.
Yeah.
So the sense of that sort of ownership with our cousins in the south of Ireland is always there. When we row from here to Meath or here to Carlingford. And the strange anomaly is, going to County Clare 2 years ago, rowing, their boats, different design. The boats lie lower in the water, the bow isn't cut away, and the oars don't overlap. So to some degree, forgive me, my Clare cousins, it's an easier boat to row than our boat, the Donegal boat.
But the overlapping of oars, that's a bit like piloting a helicopter. Where are my hands kind of thing?
Well, you're getting cut knuckles. I mean, the first 2 or 3 months rowing, our knuckles were cut.
Yeah.
Some guys wear gloves now, some don't. I don't wear gloves myself. But after about 2 or 3 months, the muscles learn that sort of motorized skill, and the knuckles magically stop knocking.
Yeah.
A strange one, and I've been told that the reason why, regarding overlap, during a heavy storm, pulling the kettle and pulling supplies, the overlapping oars give more purchase in the water.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. And the thin oars, if there were thick oars with a spoon, you'd never get the oars out of the water.
No.
That's why they're thin.
And is the Clare boat got the spoon in the end of the oar?
The Clare boat, they all have the spoon. No, none of the boats in Ireland, Clare boats have the spoon, but the hull design all very gentle, a little bit. Yeah. The Clare boats lower in the water, and the oars don't overlap. That means that the boats can be rowed with more, well, for a novice, with greater ease, plus they go straighter in the water as well.
Yeah.
The Donegal boat we have in Warren Point in Carlingford sits high in the water with a bow cut away, and the wind and the rain and the waves can pull it to one side.
Yeah.
So it's a bigger challenge.
It's a bigger challenge, and you're a canoeist, a kayaker.
Yeah.
In terms of difficulty of doing the exercise, is it easier to kayak than to currach?
Well, there's one time we're stuck. We're doing a coaching scheme out in Camel Lake. We were gently challenged by our South Armagh councillors. Dermot, you're doing curragh boats in Warren Point in Albert Basin. Please do a summer scheme
yes.
So we got a few pound off the council, and we did a summer scheme in Camel Lake. And it's one of those strange things too as well, because in Camel Lake it was very poor numbers turned up, about 10 children.
Yes.
So we got all the parents into the boat as well, you know. And Jerry McEnuff, and coming to your point, is a canoeist of 50 odd years.
He is, of course. Yeah.
I was stuck for a rower that day. Jerry got into the boat and rowed as if he had rowed all his life.
Really?
That's a slight exaggeration, but he got it very quickly.
Yeah.
So there are certain generic skills with rowing and canoeing that are very similar. You know.
You would be going out on expeditions on Carlingford Loch, and you would enjoy that.
Yeah.
What's been the most exciting expedition you've engaged upon on the Loch?
I think if you ask a child rowing, a child or an adult to go around a gym and do circuit training, or go around Gaboni Park and do a lap, or go around the mountains in a certain routine, it's commendable. But the idea of going, ask the cyclist in your the idea of going on a journey, on a trip.
Yeah.
So we tell the children very often, after a few weeks of being taught how to do the boats, we're going to go here on a journey and show them the journey. Ironically, those young children who have Tourette's and other difficulties, like that idea of leadership, know where they're going to.
Yes.
So we tell the child, we're going from Warren Point Baths, we're going to row over across the shipping lane.
Wow.
Over to Meath.
Yes.
Stop on the beach, have a rest, stretch the legs, back in the boat again, and row back to Warren Point.
I love that.
And for that child, that's a journey. And they can see in their mind's eye where they're going to.
Yeah.
Whereas rowing round in a circle
just
isn't there.
No.
Our most exciting journey so far, it sounds little, it sounds insignificant, is from Warren Point to Carlingford and back.
Yeah.
So it's a hell of a long row.
It's a long row.
Yeah, it is.
When I was a young man of 20, I swam from Carlingford to Warren Point on the incoming tide in February. I was young and silly and fit at that time, but there you are. That's the way these things go. So the future of the club, you want members. That's why we started. We want members.
Rowan, I mean, that point about sports development and community centres around Newry and community development, people think, well, does a community association want me? Or does a sporting club want me? I just find sometimes there's this horrible modesty among people.
Yeah.
If you play a bit of tennis or a bit of Gaelic or a bit of soccer or curler club member,
Yeah.
I couldn't row a boat. After about 2 or 3 weeks, you'll row from Warrenpoint to Meath and back.
Of course.
So please, those who think they want to get fit for the new year, but some club wouldn't want them,
Oh, no,
that
they want
mindset
it,
should not
yeah.
exist. Join a club with your children, with your family, your parents, and get fit. And most important of all, healthy lifestyle,
Yeah.
health and well-being, out in the fresh air, in the environment. You couldn't beat it.
That makes it.
Couldn't beat
makes,
it,
that
yeah.
makes it happen. And I think Dermot would join me in reminding you when you go on water in any kind of sporting activity, wear a buoyancy aid or a life
Right,
jacket.
yes, that's
Always.
right.
And you guys
Yeah.
do it constantly.
Yeah, that's right.
It's good to see
Yeah.
you. Dermot, we're going to play you some music now and take a break, and we wish you well.
Rowan, happy New
God
Year.
bless you. Go well. Take care.